Hey guys, welcome back to another session. Today we're going to talk about something that I really care about, which is esport. If you follow me, you will know that I went to a lot of events through all around the world, from France to the US to everywhere between. And one of the things that I noticed that esport in general is it's growing. It didn't stop during the pandemic. It didn't stop. The whole gaming industry started growing more and more and more. And today I'm joined with a very special guest who will talk with us more about esport, about ESL. I'm joined today. Do you want to introduce yourself to our audience?
Yeah, hello everybody. Thank you for these introductions. Let me introduce me a bit. I'm Désiré Koussawo. I'm the managing director of ESL France. I just hope that everybody knows ESL. ESL is the biggest esports promoter and tournament organizer in the world. We are present on all the continents. And me, I have the chance to manage the French office. But beside that, I'm also part of the France Esports Associations. It's, let's say, a kind of federation in France managing all the esports actor in France, with publishers, with promoters, tournament organizer, media, teams, and player. And last but not least, I'm really interested in developing esports in Africa. I have many contact with my peers in Africa, and I'm really hoping that in the next month and years we will have the chance to get great teams and competitions in Africa.
That's really good to hear, like that ESL is expanding, trying to get into the African market. And I'm sure also, if I'm not mistaken, also you care about the Middle East, that ESL did a couple of events here, from, I think Counter-Strike before, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yeah, we had the chance to operate many tournaments in Middle East. We are really glad to see these regions growing in esports with many new competitions, many also operation, like I saw something with um, it was caritative for the biggest human associations, like, I don't know, UNICEF or so on. It's really great to see that esport could help the world to grow and to be better.
With esports, I think, especially with this year, everything else started slowing down. But I think video games helped a lot. Like we saw a lot of teams switch, like football teams, switch from just like playing football to having their player actually play FIFA and play esport games. How did that, with ESL? What did you guys do during this pandemic?
Yeah. When you see, I'm in esports since 2000, so 20 years ago, I started to see how esports could be something really great for people. At the beginning, just for young people, it was something just for the fun. But in these last years, we really saw that esports could be more than just a fun thing. We saw many organizations, team players become pro players or pro teams, and just get this playing ground like their own job. And I think that esports and video games could be the future of sports.
Exactly.
I'm not saying that it will replace sports, but it could become as big as sport, because our young people uh, was born with video game, with screens, and for them it's really natural to use this platform on these screens to have their all their fun all the day. So now we have to be aware of that, and we have to build an ecosystem that can allow everybody to use a video game as a job in esport with a professional team, but also for the fun, or like in sport, in football, or I don't know, baseball or basketball. You can make sport for your own fun, but also if you want, you can be a pro player on it. It's the same for video game, and I really think that ESL is in the earth of this new future, and we really want to be global at it. We want to help all the regions in the world to understand how they can use sport to develop themselves.
I just noticed behind you there is a rabbit, and also you have Vede. Like you're a massive gamer, also, right?
Yeah, not so much, I really like this ecosystem, this environments. Yeah, because I'm a fan of technology, and video games is in the earth of the technology. So yeah, this is Ubisoft the Rabbit. It's really, I'm in France, and Ubisoft is a French company. So yeah, I really like this rabbit. And yeah, you have also the African African mask there, because it's also something important for me. And then you have ESL just under the rabbit. So that's, yeah, my world is really yeah, is really
It's
in
all
the
around
world of
video.
gaming, on fun.
Talking about video games helped a lot during this like year. And one of the things that I noticed is that esports in general grow. We saw a lot of interest in that, and you said that in Africa they are really interested, even here in the Middle East. Are you thinking of expanding also to the Middle East, like to Saudi Arabia, to like open a branch here in the Middle East and have ESL Middle East?
That's a good question, guy. Yeah, I was in Riyadh last year. I was invited for a summit around the tourism and all the new entertainment industry, and I met a lot of people who wanted to develop a video game on esports ecosystem in Saudi Arabia. And I really felt that you have in Saudi Arabia a really young demography. So it's really natural to have this behavior there, to use a video game on esport for the world population. And yes, for sure, if we have the chance to help these populations to develop video game on esports on the ground, we will do that. So I'm not the one who can tell you what is our main strategy in Middle East. I know there is some discussion there on that, but I cannot say many things today, and I will let my bosses take the lead if there is something to announce soon.
What are the games that are right now are the hottest game in esport? Like, what are the games that the player and the team?
Middle East?
Not only in the Middle East. Let's start with the Middle East, and then let's go with the word.
Okay, so when you talk about esports, yeah, that's really a good question, because everybody has its own view on esports titles. For me, esports, really pro esports games are really games like MOBA with League of Legends, like Dota 2. That are the most played and viewed game in the world. You have Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike is really a tier one game for esports. And then you have some other games that we can say that's esports games. It's not as competitive as League of Legends or Counter-Strike, but many young people are playing these games like Fortnite, like FIFA. That's also esports game, but you know, if you really want, for me, if you really want to tell that a game is an esport game, you have to see if this kind of game can fill a stadium. And today you can fill a stadium with Counter-Strike, with Dota 2, with Counter-Strike, but yes, also with Fortnite. But with FIFA, it's more difficult. So that's why for me, yeah, the main video games are really this one. But yeah, beside that, you have Rainbow Six, you have Overwatch, yeah, you have very you have many games that could be used to develop an esport ecosystem. You have the oldest game are also still there, like Warcraft, Starcraft. So yeah, I think there is many way to develop esports in Middle East, but all around the world. In Africa, you have a new kind of ecosystem that is growing. It's really mobile and console games. You know why?
Why?
Because you don't have many infrastructure in Africa to have PC games.
Exactly.
So PUBG Mobile is really something that is growing in Africa because it's really the platform, the mobile is really the platform that fits this continent. And you have console game like Street Fighter, like FIFA, like PES that are also really growing in Africa, but it's really uh, a question of context. Yeah. But if you want to stay at a global level, it's really the three first one are Counter-Strike, League of Legends, and Dota 2.
Where do you see the future of esport? Like, what's the future? What are you
Yeah.
planning as ESL for 2021?
Yeah, a really good question because for us at ESL we have to evolve to be sure that the next generation of esports game are present in our business. So for us, the future of esports, let's say that first, we really think that games like Counter-Strike and Dota 2 are now as strong as football or baseball in esports ecosystem. So I think in the future we will continue to see these games in stadium and on broadcast TVs. But I think that mobile games are really the next step to develop esport all around the world. And for ESL, it's really something we are studying. We are trying to build our own. We call that the esport pyramid. You know, with the grassroots communities, the semi-pro communities, and then the elite with pro players. And that's something we already have on CS:GO, and I think and we think that we could have this kind of pyramid with mobile games. So for us, yes, I think mobile games will be really the next step to develop esports. And then you already have some tests or some first step on VR, virtual reality. But for now, it's not so developed. We didn't see really strong movement on VR. So I think it will be the future of the future.
I think PlayStation tried to do like an esport game for VR, and we saw like maybe that like because a lot of people didn't adapt to the VR system, to the whole esport side of VR. Do you think people will adapt to that in the next 2 years? Because I've seen like companies like HTC, like Oculus, like PlayStation are trying to create games and trying to invest in that technology to make VR like heavy esport games.
Okay. First of all, I think that the equipment has to evolve because when you see today, if you want to play in VR mode, you need to have glasses, but it's not really comfortable. we have to develop some new equipment that are really comfortable and can fit your head without big, equipment on your head. So that's the first thing, and also the quality of games. I think we have, or they have to develop a dedicated game for VR. You cannot just take Counter-Strike and say, yeah, okay, let's try it and make a VR game with Counter-Strike, just keeping the same mechanics as the PC versions. So for me, at the moment, there isn't already a VR game that really fits what we need to develop the VR esports ecosystem.
Let's go back to one thing that you said. You said that you visited Riyadh. I want to just because we're here, we're talking about Neom, we're talking about Saudi Arabia. Where do you see the future of esport in Saudi Arabia?
For me, I think Saudi Arabia could be something like a hub for esport in the Middle East, because I really see many interests from the communities. I had the chance to talk with some actors in Saudi Arabia who wanted to invest on some operations there. So for now, we didn't succeed to build something strong. But let's see if next year in 2021, the let's say the country could understand how to develop an industry around the esports. And there is something to know, is that esports is really young. Esports is 20-year-old. So it's really young. We don't have, like in sports, an international federations, a strong organized structure. So perhaps there is something to grab, something to study, to make something, to organize something more structured in Middle East. And yeah, so I don't know Saudi Arabia because I just went there for one time last year. But I think that Saudi Arabia, with its young people, with all the last development I saw in your country, you really could be at a great place in this next era of esports in Middle East. And perhaps more, because I know that Middle East is really present in Africa. And please, if you can develop esports in MENA, MENA, it's Middle East and North Africa. So let's say in MEA, I really want Africa, not just North Africa. But yeah, I think that we are really close. Africa and Middle East are really close. So perhaps the next step is to help Middle East, but also Africa to go to the next level, because European, Asia, and American people already used to organize their own competitions, but there isn't enough investment for it in Middle East and Africa at the moment.
I think we're talking about Africa, Middle East. We think the market is going to grow in 2021 and even in the future. We saw like the interest during the whole pandemic and before the pandemic, and a lot of people switched from just like going out doing all of these things. We started like seeing people invest in getting a better system, to whether it's PC or new consoles or even a better phones, just to play games like PUBG Mobile or Fortnite. Seeing that change, seeing all of that, do you think in Africa in the next let's say 2 years, we're going to have champions coming from that region? We're going to see esport champions that will compete in big like events from Africa that represent the whole continent.
Okay, let's start at the beginning. Why do we have champions in Europe? Why do we have champions in America? Why do we have a champion in Asia like in Korea or China? We have this kind of champions because they have infrastructures. That's the beginning of all things. If you don't have roads, you cannot have cars. It's the same. If you don't have infrastructure, you cannot have players. Then you cannot have communities. Then you cannot have a great tournament. Then you cannot have champions. So in Middle East is something that I saw this last month. Many evolvement. I saw some publisher investing in data centers in Middle East. I think that in Riyadh you have Activisions with Call of Duty Mobile there or Call of Duty servers there. That's the first step. So I cannot say with ESL, let's go, we will develop esports in Africa if you don't have the publishers there. So the first thing is, how do we develop infrastructures like data centers, fiber infrastructures for people? And then if you have this first level of investment, then you can have publishers investing with their own games, server games in these data centers. Then you can have interest for players to pay to have a connection because there is a quality of service from publishers. Then you can have interest from tournament operators like ESL because there is people playing. Then we can try to make a first level of grassroots tournaments. And then when you will have enough grassroots players and amateur players, then you can think to let's say pool these communities to create the next generation of champions in Middle East and Africa. So I think that it's already the thing we start to see in Middle East and in Saudi Arabia, for example. I know you have some great champion on console games. In I think it's in FIFA. On FIFA, you have a world champion on FIFA, but it's a console game. That's why, because console games are not so difficult to operate. You don't need to have this kind of data centers infrastructure because console games you put the two players on the same table and they can play without any connections. So that's why I think we start to see this kind of champions. The same in Africa, we have some big champions on Street Fighter, Tekken, because they don't need to have this kind of infrastructure. But like you said, like you asked before, if we really want to have big champions, we need to build the foundations of all the ecosystem. So we need to talk with, I don't know, you have STC in in Saudi Arabia. If you know someone there, just talk at the door. And yeah, if they can build some data centers in Africa, I will be really great to help them then to develop some operations, championship operation, esport operations there. But that's the first thing. We won't have any champions until we won't have any infrastructures.
Thank you for joining me today. I learned a lot about Africa, about what we're gonna do here in our region. And one thing that I really wish to have ESL here with us in the region, because I think if we bring all these federation, all these like esport companies, teams, all of them here to our region, I think the whole region will grow. Whether it's starting an academy, whether it's starting a tournament, we're doing something. I think that will be the future for esport in any region, not only here in Saudi Arabia, in UAE, in the Middle East or Africa. It's all around the world. Like you need to bring something to start something.
Yeah, it's really that. I really like the way that you're seeing that. We have to, yeah, first build infrastructure, but we also have to work with these initiatives. And yeah, the fact that we at ESL, we are in the middle of of this environment, this ecosystem. We can help with academies, with workshop, with master classes. If it was me, I think that let's go to Middle East. Let's go to Riyadh and let's build some academies for casters, for players, for let's say tournament organizers, and it could really help our global ecosystem to evolve, because we don't want to have always the same head, at the top of our competitions. I think it will be nice for everybody to have new talents coming in our ecosystem. I really like the term mixity and diversity, but even us at ESL, we have to work on it to have more diversity with new talents all over the world. But for that, the ecosystem has to grow everywhere. So that's our mission, to help the other region to develop themselves.
Thank you so much, and I can't wait to meet you in person to discuss more about esports. And hopefully next time we're gonna have this whole DGC, we're gonna have it in person. We're gonna all be in Neom in Saudi Arabia, celebrating video games, talking about video games, and talking about esports.
Okay, perhaps you are there in Saudi Arabia, so perhaps you have some informations to share with us.
all I can say is that in Saudi Arabia, I think there is a future for esports, for video games. Hopefully, we're going to see a lot of developers coming to this region, creating games for this region, and also we're going to see a lot of tournaments, hopefully, in 2021.
Okay, so yeah, let's invite me and I will come. I want to see that by my own eyes.
Will do.
It will be a pleasure. I entered esports ecosystem 20 years ago, but it was just a patience. I had my own work at the beginning, and when today I look back all my career, I'm really, it's really amazing that this kind of passion could become a business for me, a job for me. And I really want you and your friends there in Middle East, on Africa, to know this kind of opportunity. It's really an opportunity to keep this. It's like if you are a young Saudi guy, you like run in the on the road because you are sportive, you are an athlete, and your dream is really to make that, to win money and to live with your passions. It's the same for esports. It's the same for video game. I think if I had the chance to in 20 years to make this esports passion a job, then everybody could have this chance.
I really respect that, and I think that's the idea is that with doing something like this, a conference like this, is that we're trying to open a lot of people's eye that there's a future in esports, there's a future in video games, and you're an example of that.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I really hope that you guys enjoyed this session. Please follow ESL channels and everything. And to learn more about esports, you can talk with the experts, you can listen to them, and you can, of course, get all these information going to the ESL website. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure. And let's see each other in next month. I'm sure I will see you on the ground.
Hopefully. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Big shout out goes to our big dogs and big people in ESL. Thank you so much for the amazing work you provided and you gave us in the esport world. Big shout out to you and big respect. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to a workshop more about optimizing the workflow and how to create Unity tools with Ahmed Jamal from the SAE Institute. So let's go and let's learn.